Watch your own mouth the next time you pay for something. You are at a register, counting out your change. Nobody is rushing you. The young fellow behind the counter is not even looking at you. He is thinking about his shift ending. And you say it anyway. Sorry. I know I'm slow. You said it to a stranger who did not care. About nothing. And here is the part that should stop you from getting cold. You have been saying some version of that sentence for about 10 years now, aloud, several times a day, and you have never heard yourself do it once. Sorry for taking a minute. Sorry to bother you. Sorry, I am sure you are busy. Do not go to any trouble for me. Now understand what those words are doing because it is not politeness. Every one of them is an instruction. You are telling the room, in plain English, that you believe you are in the way, and people believe what a man tells them about himself. Your family believes it. Strangers believe it. And they begin, slowly and without meaning any harm, to treat you exactly the way you have been describing yourself. I have watched this take good men apart. Not all at once. One apology at a time, over about 15 years, until there is a fellow sitting in the corner at his own family dinner who has apologized for his way out of his own life. Tonight, I am going to give you 6 things you must never apologize for again after 65. Not to a stranger, not to your own children, not to yourself. And I will tell you now, the 6th one is a sentence you have certainly said this week. To somebody who loves you. It sounds humble. It is the single most damaging thing a man our age says aloud, and when I tell you what it is, you are going to recognize your own voice. Here's the first. Never apologize for taking your time. Getting out of the car. Getting up out of a chair when somebody is waiting. Finding the right word in the middle of a sentence. Taking the stairs at the pace your knees have agreed to. A man named Walter, 71, counted it up for me once. He apologized 4 times on one trip to the pharmacy. 4 times in 11 minutes, for nothing but existing at his own speed. And not one person in that store had been impatient with him. That is the thing to notice. Impatience is always in your own head, and your apology is what puts the idea into everybody else's. Here is the truth of it. Your pace is not a flaw. It is the pace of a man who has done 40 or 50 years of challenging work with that body, and the body is entitled to move the way it moves now. So, replace the apology with nothing at all. Just take the time. If you feel you must say something, say, one moment, that is a request, not an apology, and people respond to it completely differently. Silence while you take your time is the sound of a man who is not ashamed of himself. And watch what happens the first week you try it. Nobody sighs. Nobody taps a foot. The room simply waits, the way rooms have always waited for men who did not ask permission to exist in them. By the way, if you are over 65 and this first one landed on you, put the state you are watching from in the comments. I read every one, and it helps to know how many of us are working on the same thing. Now the second one is quieter, and men give it away constantly without noticing. Never apologize for asking for help. This is the one my generation was raised to avoid at all costs. Asking is weakness. Needing is a burden. So, when we finally do ask, we wrap it in 3 apologies and an excuse. I hate to bother you, I know you're busy, and it's really no big deal, but would you mind? Now listen to what that does. You have just told the other person that helping you is a bother, that your need is not important, and that they should feel put upon. Half of them will help you anyway and feel drained. The rest will hear the escape hatch and take it. Compare it to this. Could you give me a hand with this? 7 words. No apology. Almost nobody says no to that. And here are the part men our age forgets. People like being useful to an older man. It makes them feel good about themselves. When you apologize for asking, you are stealing that from them and calling it politeness. Ask plainly. Say thank you properly afterward. That is the whole transaction, and there is no shame anywhere in it. And there is a longer game here worth understanding. The people who help you with trivial things are the people who stay close to you. A man who never asks for anything ends up with a family standing politely at a distance, wondering if he wants them there. Asking is not a burden you place on people. It is how you keep them nearby. The third thing is one you may have already given up on, and you should take it back. Never apologize for having an opinion. Somewhere in your 70s, opinions start getting treated like symptoms. You say what you think about the neighborhood, the money, the way something is being managed, and somebody says, gently, "Okay, Dad." That tone. And after enough of those, most men go quiet. Then they start prefacing, "I'm probably behind the times, but I don't know anything about it anymore, but you can ignore me, but..." Every one of those is an apology in advance, and it does the arguing for the other side before you have said your point. A man named Chester, 74, caught himself doing it at a family meeting about his own house, apologizing for having thoughts about his own house. 50 years of watching how people and money and trouble work is not behind the times. It is data. You are the only one at the table who has it. Understand what is really happening in those moments. Your children are not dismissing your mind. Most of the time they are moving fast, and you are the one voice in the room asking them to slow down, and slowing down is inconvenient. That is not a reason to go quiet. That is exactly the reason you are needed at that table. So, say the thing straight. "Here's what I think." Then stop. They can disagree with you. That is fine. That is what grown people do. But do not hand them the ruling before you have made your case. One more thing about this. You do not have to win. That is not the point of having an opinion at your age. The point is to remain a participant in the conversations that concern your own life. A man who apologizes his way out of every discussion eventually gets discussed instead of consulted, and that is an awkward thing to reverse. Now the fourth one is where a lot of men quietly give away years of their life. Never apologize for what you enjoy. The old truck you like driving. The television programs. The hours in the shop doing something nobody asked for. The fishing that catches nothing. The nap. And yet men apologize for all of it. I know it's silly. I know I should be doing something useful. It's just something to pass the time. Just something to pass the time. Gentlemen, what exactly do you think we are doing here? Time is the only thing any of us has, and enjoying it is not a waste of it. You spent 40 or 50 years doing what was necessary and what other people needed. The reward for that is no more usefulness. The reward is being allowed to spend a Tuesday afternoon on something that pleases nobody but you. So, drop the apology and the little laugh that goes with it. When somebody asks what you have been up to, they say, "I was out in the shop." Full stop. Say it the way a man says something to which he is entitled. And here is a small thing I have noticed. When an older man talks about what he enjoys without apology, younger people lean in. They are curious about it. But when he laughs it off as killing time, they file it away as nothing and never ask again. You decide which one happens in the way you say one sentence. The fifth one is one that surprises men, because it does not feel like an apology at all. Never apologize for saying no. Most men our age cannot say a plain no. What comes out instead is a paragraph. The back is acting up, and we had that thing on Saturday, and I would hate for anyone to think, and maybe if it were the following week. Here is the problem with the paragraph. Every excuse you offer is a door somebody can open. You said your back hurts? Then they will offer to drive. You said Saturday is busy? Then how about Sunday? The excuse invites negotiation. And there is a second cost. A man who cannot say no gets asked for everything, because everyone has learned he will fold. A plain now does not need a reason. I'm going to pass on that one. Not this time, but thank you for thinking of me. Warm tone, no excuse, no apology. You have exactly as many good afternoons left as you have. Deciding how they get spent is not rudeness. It is the last and best authority a man has, and it does not require anybody's approval. And notice that a plane does not protect your eyes. When every request gets an automatic, apologetic agreement, your presence stops meaning anything. You are simply the man who always comes. But when you choose, you are showing up becomes a message. People know you are there because you wanted to be. And now the sixth one. The one every man in this age group apologizes for daily. Never apologize for still being here. I want to be careful because most men would never say this aloud. It comes out sideways. You don't need to worry about me. I don't want to be a bother to anybody. I'm sure you have better things to do. Don't go to any trouble for me. And the worst one, the one I have heard from more men than I can count, well, I'm still here. Said with a little laugh. As though your continued presence is a mild inconvenience everyone is being polite about. That is an apology for being alive, and your family hears it. Say it enough and you instruct the people who love you to think of you as a burden being managed rather than a man being enjoyed. Here is what is true instead. The people who love you are not counting the cost of you. They are counting the time. And every time you apologize for taking up space in their lives, you are refusing something they are trying to give you. So, take the help. Come to dinner. Let them make a fuss on your birthday. Say, I'd like that, instead of, don't go to any trouble. You are not in the way. You are the reason a good many of these people are the way they are. And if you want the plainest test of this, watch a man's grandchildren. Children do not calculate burdens. They just want to know if the old man is glad to be there. A grandfather who says, don't go to any trouble, is telling a child to keep a distance. A grandfather who says, I'd like that, gets climbed on for 20 years. So, there they are. 6 things. Your pace, asking for help, having an opinion, what you enjoy, saying no, and being here at all. Notice something about that list. Not one of those is a fault, a failing, or an imposition. Every single one is just a man living his own life at his own age. And yet most of us have been apologizing for all 6 years, out of politeness that stopped being politeness a long time ago and turned into something closer to shrinking. Here is what I would like to have you do this week. Just listen to yourself. Count the apologies. You will be surprised. Most men find 4 or 5 a day, all for nothing. Then start cutting them. Not with argument, not with pride. Just take them out and put nothing in their place. Take your time in silence. Ask plainly. Say what you think. Say what you enjoy. Say no. And when somebody offers you something, say yes and let them. It will feel strange for about 2 weeks. That is normal. You are undoing 50 years of habit, and habit always protests. Some days you will hear the apology come out of your mouth before you can catch it. Catch the next one. Do that for a month and you will notice the room changes around you. Nobody will announce it. But people stand differently near a man who is not apologizing for himself. You have earned your peace. You do not owe anybody an apology for occupying it. If this spoke to you, subscribe, because next I am going through the 5 sentences that quietly cost older men respect, and the exact words to use instead. Most men say at least 2 of them every week without knowing what they are doing. Take care of yourself. I will see you in the next one.